And so we began questing, and questing, and questing. With Dad completely sucked into his own adventures, there was no nagging parent to force me to shut off the computer after an hour or two online. Instead, Sir Leo and I played for hours, side by side, each locked into our own little worlds. Once in a while, Emily would wander over, pronounce Dad and me hopeless nerds, then head back to the television. After a while, Dad was done with Blue Rock, and he and Lady Adriana started adventuring with Sir Leo and me. With their high-level help, we were able to fight bigger monsters and win better treasure. And the whole time, the four of us were joking around, teasing one another, and generally having a grand old time. I grinned over at Dad, and he grinned back at me. He was so much fun. How could Mom not see that? She really needed to lighten up.
Want to take a break for dinner?
He asked.
Or just get pizza delivery?
Pizza delivery. I didn't want to stop questing. He laughed and hit the number 2 on his phone's speed dial. Obviously, this wasn't the first time he'd made that decision.
I was hoping you'd say that.
I want French fries and chicken fingers, Emily whined from the next room. Dad rolled his eyes.
Anything you like, sweetie.
He called over to her. He gave me a wink. I winked back. We continued to play into the night. Before I knew it, I turned level 15 and had learned some amazing new spells. The wolves that had troubled me my first day were absolutely no threat anymore. In fact, I could kill them in one blow. And I did, too, saving some newbie from certain death, and then suggesting that he go back and play in the beginner area. I was beginning to feel like a real gamer girl. Totally 1337. Elite, as Sir Leo would say. Finally, Dad stretched his hands over his head and glanced over to the adjoining living room, where Emily had passed out in front of the television.
I'm going to put her to bed,
he told me.
Say goodnight to your Sir Leo. It's time for you to hit the sack, too.
I looked at the clock, surprised to see it was already midnight. We'd been playing for over 8 hours straight. Crazy. Still, I couldn't remember a day in the last year when I'd had so much fun. Okay, Dad, I smiled at him. I'll log off in a minute. Dad got up to go drag Emily to bed, and I turned back to the computer. Begin parentheses. It's late. Dad says I have to go to bed, end parentheses.
Parentheses. Yeah. Wow. I didn't even realize it was midnight, end parentheses.
Begin parentheses. I know. Time flies when you're having fun, end parentheses.
Sir Leo smiles. Parentheses. I had a lot of fun. You're great to play with, end parentheses.
Allura blushes. Begin parentheses. Thanks. Smiley face. You're fun to play with yourself, end parentheses. There was a pause in conversation, and at first I thought Sir Leo had left the computer. Then another instant message dinged.
Parentheses. Sorry, I was just ... End parentheses.
Begin parentheses. Question mark? Question mark? End parentheses.
Parentheses. Well, it's weird to play with you so much and not know anything about you. I mean, I know you probably live on the East Coast, because we're in the same time zone, but besides that ... end parentheses.
Begin parentheses. Yeah, it's weird. I feel like I know you really, really well, and yet not at all, end parentheses.
Parentheses. Yes! It's crazy! At least tell me where you live, end parentheses.
I swallowed hard, my hands hovering over the keys, not sure what to do. Dad had just warned me about this, and I'd laughed him off, saying I'd never do it. And yet here I was, a few hours later, totally tempted. Begin parentheses. I'm not supposed to say... Dad's rules, remember? End parentheses. Ugh. Even as I typed it, I realized how stupid I sounded. How babyish. Sir Leo was going to think I was a total loser. Either that, or I was completely uninterested in him, which was so not the case. Heck, if there was any way in the known universe to meet him in real life, I would in a heartbeat.
Parentheses. Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense. Your dad's smart. I mean, you never know. Not that I would do anything, obviously. But how would you know that?
Begin parentheses.
End parentheses. Get off my...
Begin parentheses. Right. I mean, I don't know you. Well, not the real you, you know? End parentheses. Wow, this was awkward, and I wasn't explaining myself very well. The last thing I wanted was for him to think I didn't trust him.
Parentheses. Sorry, I shouldn't have even asked. My bad. End parentheses.
Begin parentheses. It's okay, don't worry about it. End parentheses.
Parentheses. It's just ... Well, I think you're really cool, and I know you probably still live 1,000 miles away, and would never want to anyways, but I can't help thinking how awesome it'd be to meet you in real life, end parentheses.
I stared at the computer, too dumbfounded to type a reply. He wanted to meet me in real life? I suddenly felt faint, and my stomach started flip-flopping as I imagined the scene playing out. Sir Leo, stepping into the room, handsome and breathtaking, breaking into a big smile as his eyes fell on me. Me, grinning back at him, my heart beating a mile a minute, him sweeping me up into a tender embrace and kissing me senseless. I shook my head. Fantasize much, Maddie? Before I could type a reply, Dad burst back into the room.
Did you say your good nights?
He asked, walking over to the computer. Quickly, I minimized the game screen, red-faced, not wanting him to read our conversation. Seeing a guy online say he wanted to meet me in real life was so going to set off the parental warning bells. Yeah, I stammered. I'm just going to check my email and go to bed. Dad kissed the top of my forehead.
Okay, sweetie,
He said.
I'm going to brush my teeth and hit the hay. See you in the morning.
He exited the room. Once alone, I maximized the game screen again. In my absence, Sir Leo had continued typing, probably assuming I was too shocked to answer him. I scanned the chat screen, cringing at what I'd missed.
Parentheses. I can't believe I just typed that. Never mind. Forget I said anything. End parentheses. Parentheses. This is stupid. You're probably not even a real girl or something. End parentheses. Parentheses. I mean, not that I don't believe you or anything. Sorry, that came out wrong. End parentheses. Parentheses. Hello, are you there? End parentheses. Parentheses. Great, I probably scared you off. I'm sorry. End parentheses. Sir Leo sighs. Parentheses. Well, good night. It was fun playing with you. Sweet dreams. End parentheses. Sir Leo logs off.
I banged my head on the desk in frustration. What had I just done? Probably completely embarrassed him and made him think I wasn't interested, which was so not the case. In fact, I had a raging, burning, out-of-control crush on the guy. But what choice did I have? I tried to rationalize, even forgetting that whole online safety thing for a moment. Did I really want to meet him in real life? I mean, he thought it was a beautiful, sexy elf chick. If he met the real Madeline Starr, he'd probably run screaming in the other direction. I switched off the computer and got up from my chair. It was better this way, I told myself. Be online friends and leave it at that. So why did that seem so hard to do?